have moved on to become a consultant. I have served as a consultant under the ELIZA program in USAID, where I was seconded to the Ministry of Health and the health sector. I now serve under Farm Access, also as a consultant in the health sector, and my main duties right now is to deliver a legal framework for quality of care in Kenya. In the course of my duties, all my life, I have, in 1997, after finishing Form 4, before I could vote, I participated in the electoral process through teaching my local voter education to the locals through a program by Nairobi University. In 2002 and 2007, I served as an election observer. In 2014, as an advocate in my professional capacity, I was instructed by the people of Makueni County to file suit against the county government and the county assembly because there was a dispute on revenue allocation between the two entities. That is the suit, that is the issue that was escalated to the president for suspension of the county, but we were able to sort it out amicably after directions from Senate. Again, in my interactions with the electoral process, in 2017, I served in the nomination process, party primaries, as the secretary to one of the national elections board for one of the political parties. We were able to conduct that very successfully, and only a few cases went on to the political parties tribunal. I have also given legal support to clients in the political parties tribunal and in the mainstream court for electoral petitions. In 2002, again, I gave legal support to several parties, from making the women charter, and for one of the parties again, and then giving legal support in terms of training of agents and aspirants on the electoral process. Yes, I want to take some water.
Please do. Feel free. Feel free. Yeah, feel free. This is.
So I have been involved in the electoral process, as I've stated, in several instances. I have also, in the course of my duties, been appointed as a member of the Dispute Resolution Committee for the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. I have served for 5 years. There have been 2 elections within Chamber, which we were able to handle the disputes, and in both instances, only about 3 proceeded to the mainstream court. So I have a lot of experience in dispute resolution. As I stated, I have transitioned to being a legal consultant. My first consultant was with USAID, where I was involved in the legal framework, the new legal frameworks that were being done under the Ministry of Health, or quite a number. I was involved in development of policy. I was specifically involved in the development of the human resource for health policy, which is intended to ensure that there is an end to the mini strikes among health workers. I have also been able to negotiate contracts between a contract between the USTDA, that is a grant agreement between USTDA and the National Quality Control Laboratory. The National Quality Control Laboratory is the body charged with ensuring that the health products and technologies that come to Kenya meet the standards as required by law. So the grant agreements is supposed to ensure that Kenya is able to construct an ultra-modern laboratory that will propel Kenya into attaining the maturity level 3 required under WHO, so that local manufacturers can be able to sell their drugs directly without requiring other certifications. I have additionally been involved in negotiations of contracts called mutual recognition contracts between regulators in Kenya on the health sector, where a person having a degree in Uganda, for the East African community, where a person having a degree in medicine in Kenya can be able to be recognized in any of the East African countries. That would be that is very good for Kenya, because we have quite a number of health workers that require to move to the neighboring countries. I have also been able to negotiate again, or part of the people who negotiated the implementation letters between USAID and the Ministry of Health. That was supposed to ensure to give the backing for which USAID could give financial support to the ministry, which was for a budget of about 23 billion. So I was also supposed to have high-level reports between USAID, the USG, which is all the people representing the US government in Kenya, that is the director from USAID, USTDA, that is US Trade and Development Agency, the USCDC, as well as the mission for Kenya and East Africa. So in the course of, I've had quite a number of duties, and they were very high pressure. Sometimes I had to work throughout the weekend, throughout the night, just to be able to deliver, because the projects within the ministry that had to do with USAID were quite enormous. So I learned first of all, how to negotiate with donors to be able to get the best for Kenya, how to create legal framework. I realized all along, as a lawyer, I had been a consumer of the law. I had not had an experience where I was in the process of creation of that law. So I have had experience as a consultant in development of what we all know as the U4 UHC bills, the Social Health Insurance Act, the Digital Health Act, the Primary Health Act, and the Facility Financing Improvement Act and their regulations. So I have also, in the course of those duties, been able to conduct stakeholders forum and be involved in public participation. So I have gained a lot of experience in terms of my legal practice and my engagement as a consultant that would give me a good chance to be a candidate for this seat.
Wow, this is you have really worked and served in the health industry, and congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we are struggling with Shashi and all those other acts that Kenyans are trying to acclimatize themselves onto, and it's nice to meet the person who claims the authorship of some of those statutes. As you come into this, I'm wondering why you want to leave such a lucrative industry, healthcare, and you come into this very difficult, not so lucrative, if you like, industry of elections in Kenya.
Chairperson, I have had an interest in the electoral process from a very early age, and as much as I have served Kenya in the health sector, I would want to diversify and be able to give my best also to the electoral sector. And I believe I'm a person of very good integrity. I have very good leadership skills, because in most of these assignments, especially in the creation of the bills, I ended up being the chairperson, so that I was able to organize the people I also ended up being the person conducting the stakeholders forum and also conducting the public participation of these bills. So I think it is time to move to another part of the government, or to be able to serve the people of Kenya in another capacity.
And in the creation of these bills, what was the role of Parliament in the drafting?
The Parliament, we drafted the bills, then presented to Parliament for them to be able to go on with the usual passing of the bill within Parliament, including that they also did public participation, although the ministry also did that, just to make sure there was wider reach of the people.
Thank you. I will take you over to Madam Linda Kiome here to also ask you one or two questions, please. Linda.
Thank you, Chairman. Now, Lillian, why do you think the drafters of the IEBC Act required that the chairperson of the commission to be an advocate?
I think the reason the drafters required that is because there's a lot of legal issues that are involved that require interpretation in the normal course of operations. Also, upon creation by the Constitution, there was need to be a lot of follow-up laws to be able to give effect to the constitutional mandate. So I think it was important to have a lawyer to be able to run that process of ensuring that we get the follow-up acts of Parliament, regulations that would be ensure that the intention of the constitutions are met.
Thank you, Lillian. Now, while I appreciate your wealth of experience in the legal profession, and now that you also have a wealth of experience outside in the strict sense, the legal profession,
yes.
What skills have you acquired that you could use as a chairperson of this commission that will help you in your mandate as a chairperson, in the execution of your mandate as a chairperson of the commission?
Thank you, Madam Leader. And through the chair, I have acquired quite a number of skills. One is that I have been a litigator for many years, so I would be able to handle the issues of that come up in litigation, in election petitions. You can be able to look through, although as the chair you may not be the one handling that, but you can be able to look through and see the kind of cases that have been filed against the commission. I have also acquired leadership skills, especially again while I was on consultancy, because then I was given a lot of duties that required me to take that mandate as the leader and ensure that projects are delivered within specific timelines. I'm also very good, and I like keeping records to be able to have follow-up. I think that is one of the things we learn in practice, that you need to be able to follow up from when the case started to the end. So I have been able to move on with that even in the consultancy stage, where I ensure we have very, very good records kept, that even if I exit from that zone, someone else is able to come and take it over and run with it. I have also been able to get quite some negotiating skills, especially in terms of having grant agreements between people within the health sector. I have learned how to negotiate. Sometimes you get into a room and it's so hard. The air is so hard that you have to find a way to be able to put the people together before they start fighting. And what I've learned is that what you need to do is crack a joke. The endorphins will come through. That is what I've learned because of staying with doctors for too long. That those endorphins, the feel-good situation comes in, and then people calm down, then you can restart again the process of negotiations. I would also want to state that my name is Wanjiku. It embodies the new constitutional order and democratic aspirations of the people of Kenya.
Which name is this? Wanjiku or Manigene?
Wanjiku.
Oh, okay. You are the Wanjiku that they talk
Yes,
about.
Yes, I am.
Nice to meet you finally.
Thank you, Wanjiku. Now, being the Wanjiku that you are, and being a leader, and with all that experience, in your career journey, have you had an experience whereby your leadership skills have been put to test through pressure and any other external influences, and you've really gone through a tough period as a leader and come out through? And would you share that kind of experience with this panel?
Yes, I have. As a lawyer, there are situations where you give legal advice and the person you're talking to does not want that kind of legal advice. But you have to stick to what the law provides. However, additionally, when I was conducting nominations for one of the political parties, the party primaries, there are situations where a person will come. I remember one specific situation. This lady came, removed all her clothes, and demanded that we must give her the certificates. And I had to be able, being the only woman in that panel, I was told, it is your work to deal with this person, and I had to deal with her, calm her down, explain to her what we have been able to do and what we can do just to confirm that the result is the one. And she calmed down. I gave her a lesson, and we were able to sort that issue very fast.
Thank you, Lillian.
Yes.
I wish you all the best.
Thank
you, Chairman.
So did you give her the certificate?
No, she didn't get the certificate because she was not the best. She was not the best aspirant at that time.
Okay.
But we were able to calm her down and be able to explain why and the process that was used for us to arrive to that result.
Okay.
Yes.
So when we get into Bomas and a candidate full search on you, you will stand your ground?
I will stand my ground. Yes, I will. I do not see why, when the law is so clear, and I would want to protect, I would want us as Kenyans, all of us, to be able to have our ambitions and the spirit of the Constitution met as it is. So I do not see why we would be able to sit back and let the political class be able to influence my decision against the results that have been, against the voting and the results that has been done by the people of Kenya.
Thank you. I want to welcome Caro Kituku also to engage you briefly. Caro, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and good morning once more, Wanjiku.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes. So, Article 38 of the Constitution provides the right to vote. And one of the measures in which the Constitution puts forward this right is to ensure there is secrecy in the ballot. Why do you think this is so? What is its importance in a democratic country?
I think the reason why we need to have secrecy is to ensure that there is no voter suppression. Because if you have been maybe threatened or there's undue influence and it's not through secret ballot, then that person is not able to vote. They would prefer to keep away from the ballot. Yes.
In your experience, I am hearing you saying that you have participated in one or another in the electoral system, yes, and through the electoral processes. So what do you think are the lapses within the Kenyan electoral laws and systems and practice that threatens the right to vote through the secret ballot?
In terms of the law and regulations, perhaps the problem is not in the law. I think the problem is the space that we have in the polling stations as they are set, so that where that box that you're given to vote, and with the presence of the agents and the clerks from the IEBC, there isn't enough for that ballot to actually be secret. Everyone is looking in, so we need maybe to consider having more polling stations to enable so that there's more space. Like the polling station where I vote, there are so many people that even getting in, I remember my mom has been handicapped for a very long time. Getting her in a wheelchair and moving the people just to give her space is so hard. So my point is that the polling stations themselves do not have adequate space that would allow the privacy or the secrecy in the vote.
So I hear you.
Yeah.
And my concern mostly is that not on accessibility, you have been given access. In fact, the law regulates how many numbers should exist per polling station. And I think the intention to that was very clear, so that to ensure that there is no many people in one polling station that may hinder the processes. So my concern is on the secret balloting. You are there, you have access, you're supposed to vote. So what are some of these instances that exist or that could threaten your right to exercise a secret voting by way of secret ballot?
From my understanding of secret ballot, it means that you have given your papers and you stand somewhere alone and you vote. The law allows for that. So I think there is no major issue, or legally from my perspective, that would hinder that kind of secret ballot.
And is it always the case that the secret ballot is always the secret ballot?
Yeah,
practically
especially
outside the legal framework?
It is, like I said, for me it is the spacing that is there, and the fact that sometimes you have the agent surrounding the person. So that space that you have to be able to vote that secret ballot is not adequate. But in terms of the law, I think the law is very clear. It is supposed to be a secret ballot. However, you also note in terms of polling station and the 700 people provided, you find one room has several polling stations within, and that's what causes the crowding. So it would be important to be able to study the amount of number of people or the number of polling stations that can be within a specific region. Yeah.
Is there any instances when, in the voting process, when you're exercising your right to vote by secret ballot, there is a breach of that secrecy?
From my experience, maybe because I'm a lawyer and when I walk in somewhere, no one will try to be able to interfere with that. But from my experience, especially when I was doing the Observer, you find that there are a lot of people who want to come and ensure who you are voting for. Yeah, so that would interfere with the secret ballot.
So there is always this category of voters that many a times could be assisted.
Yes.
The assisted voters.
Yes.
Do you think that that process of having, the recognition of them being assisted voters, their secrecy, their right to secrecy ballot is breached, and if so, how?
Okay. Yes, that's their right to having a secret ballot is actually affected because I
Emere TV. Once upon a time, one day in August 2022, everything fell apart.
Hereby declares that